Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Ariel in this incarnation, and well, in the past, I heard many times this phrase, "toxic optimism," and I really wanted to explain the difference between optimism and denial. I think they are very different, and I think that's why many people is calling this thing toxic optimism. Um, I really wanted to talk about this because I think to develop optimism is something very useful for our journey. And with this, of course, I'm not saying we have to deny what we are feeling, what if we are feeling anger or sadness or whatever emotion we are feeling. But to understand that when we incarnate in here, we are deciding to integrate a lot of things, a lot of lessons and experiences, and that everything that happens in our life and everything that happens in the world has a divine purpose. Because if it's not, then it doesn't happen. And I know that we live in a world that a lot of things happen here. Many kinds of chaos and energy of destruction. So I think it's very difficult many times to see things this way because we are wired to perceive the world in this with this filter. And I wanted to remember us all that our perception is colored by all the programations and all the things that we have inside of ourselves. So that's why many people see the world in a different way, because it's totally linked to what we are bringing inside. So if I perceive this world like shit, I have to do a review inside myself, because I think many things could, many wounds and many things could color the filter that way. And I used to be a person that I was so pessimistic in my when I was a teenager and in my adulthood too. So it took me a long time to practice this, and I really respect that the other people cannot see maybe the world this way. And I used to be so sensitive. I am now too, but I understood how maybe to focus my mind and maybe to redirect my emotions, to channel them in a different way. And what I'm trying to say is that, for example, when I was a child, I was so sad for the things that happened in the world. I used to, go to sleep crying because of wars or things that happened to the children that I saw on TV. And right now, I understand that it's very important to be empathetic, because that's the difference between, people that are really care about others, or psychopaths. So I think empathy is something very nice. Is something that is part of the souls that are connected to light. But I think it's important to understand how we are developing conflicts in this world, in the individual creations and in the collective creations. So that's why metaphysically it's very important, for example, to who you tell your problems. Because if you tell your conflicts to someone that is, for example, let's suppose that a friend of mine tell me a conflict that is happening to her, and then I spend all my day very sad and very crying because that person is going through that, and I feel pity and etc. So if I cannot do anything for that person, because empathy serves for that, empathy is for recognize what the other could need and to give that to that person. But if I cannot do anything, because there's times that we cannot do anything for other people, because they have their own process and they have to face those processes. So if I am putting all my energy there in that way, I am feeding the conflict metaphysically, because all the creations here in this planet are are created apart from thoughts and emotions and actions, of course, too. So it's very important to understand this, because this applies to the collective things. If there's a lot of people that are complaining about everything that is happening and focusing on the chaos, then we are feeding them. And with this, I'm not saying we don't have to do anything. On the contrary, I think we can change this world by changing ourselves. We have to start in that place, because if we understand this, if we understand that everything is interconnected, then we will know that all the chaos and all the energy of destruction comes from every little action that all the humans do in this planet. I think this is very important. I know that I am repeating this, but I think it's important to remember, because if we start with little changes in our own life and we start to do things better and we try to behave in a better way with other people, then we are collaborating a lot. And as much as we are advancing, moving forward in our spiritual path, maybe we could be people that have more power, maybe. And if we have more power, we can do things that can affect this world more. And it's like the phrase of the movie, with great power, you have a great responsibility. And it is like that. So I think it starts with the power that you have right now in your role, in your part of the world that you are living. It starts there, because if we don't understand that we are all participating of the things that are created in this world, then we won't be able to change it and to be responsible about that. So if we can comprehend that, and I'm going to give an example right now, because I heard this in a Kabbalah class. I mentioned that I am studying this because I think it totally changed my world, to understand the secrets that were behind the sacred scriptures. Because if we read the Bible like it is mentioned, like it is written right now, many times that God could be something very evil. And with Kabbalah, I understood many things, and many things were written in a coded way too. So I think it's very important to approach this with another perception. And I wanted to mention this part, because there was a patriarch that his son, his two sons died, and the day after, that guy could felt like happy, because it was a condition to be a priest, and he could be happy because. Not because he was a psychopath without feelings. It was because he understood the purpose of the death of the sons, his children. So I think that's a very high level of perception of the reality, and I am not saying we all have to do that at all, but I think that a good practice is not to judge situations. For example, if something that we are perceiving as bad, or that are bringing ourselves emotions of anger or sadness, maybe we could try to not judge that thing as bad or good, and simply face those emotions and understand that that situation is trying to show us something, so that way we can reveal light. And when we do this practice, we will know that not always, of course, the purpose is revealing at the present moment. Many times it takes years even. But I think as much as we are practicing this, the revealing of the purpose accelerates too. And I think it's very important to respect our own process, not to force ourselves to do anything. And this is not about, how I said, to deny any emotion. On the contrary, I think it's very important to face them all and to rechannel them and to understand how we can integrate those situations. But I think this practice will naturally develop a healthy level of optimism, because we will know always that all the situations are presenting to ourselves for something, and that we have the power to co-create a new reality, or to change that. Or if we cannot change the reality, then we have the power to change our perception, because that is life what is asking to us. And that way we will be free of loads. I think this is very, very important. And when optimism turns a denial, this happens when we are sustaining situations that are draining ourselves, and we are telling ourselves that they are not that bad, or or that we really want something different, but we don't do anything different. So every time that we are using optimism with quotation marks to not taking decisions and to not face the things, then it turns denial. And an example of this, a collective example, could be, there's many people that is complaining about politicians, about the leaders they have. And I think this is a childish response, because we have to understand in a very profound way that all of those leaders are a reflection of the entire society. So we won't have different leaders if we don't change, if we don't change the collective. So if, for example, I am complaining about politicians, but then I participate of votations, and I am trying to, I pick the same things every time with the hope, the false hope that things will change. And I leave the change for those people that are in the power right now. And we all know that those things are corrupted. So that we need a new system and a new way to reorganize things. But I think it's many times it's more comfortable to keep complaining. So this could be an example of denial, from my perception, of course. And other example that I could give is something that I experienced on my own, because I told you in one of the first videos that I had a psychopathic relationship with a narcissist. And I told myself many times that things weren't that bad, in order to not detach from that situation that was really draining my energy and was very violent. So we could sustain denial, but I don't think that that's optimism, if you understand this conception. So finally, I think it's important to develop optimism, or at least the faith, even in situations that are dark, because there's always a potential of revealing light in every situation of destruction, in every situation of chaos. And if we cannot see that, it is because we are not assuming the responsibility of the creation of that situation. And that's the same practice we have to do in a collective way. So once humans can be responsible for all their actions, then we will be able to change things in a very, very, very profound way. So I just wanted to leave this message today. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.